Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how to save a bunch of money on soft plastics by simplifying your color selection to a few colors that will work no matter where you go fishing. So stay tuned and let's get right into it. So choosing soft plastic color probably has to be one of the most confusing things when it comes to fishing because of how many options there are out there. There are companies that literally have 100, 200 color options just for a Senko. But you don't need that many colors when you're actually choosing soft plastics. There's a select few colors that will work pretty much anywhere you go in the country, and you only need a few bags of plastics. So whether you're a bank angler that can't take that many bags of plastics with them because these baits weigh a lot the more and more you throw in your bag, or you're just fishing on a budget and don't want to have to buy tons of colors of soft plastics because you see all these guys using green pumpkin green and green pumpkin blue and green pumpkin red, you don't need all those colors. So we're going to break it down to the few select colors that you need today. We're first going to start by talking about base colors, and then we're going to talk about adding glitter and other colors in the bait when you're choosing these to really simplify what you need when you're on the water. So what do I mean by a base color? When you pick a bait out, like a green pumpkin for example, you can buy a plain green pumpkin, you could buy green pumpkin with a chartreuse tail, green pumpkin with red glitter, green pumpkin with purple and green glitter. You can get pretty much anything in that green pumpkin color, but your main base color is still that green pumpkin. I could end this video right here and tell you the only two colors that you need are a black and a green pumpkin. Pretty much anywhere in the country, if you fish with just these two colors right here, you will catch fish. But there are some tricks and different colors you want to incorporate besides these two that will catch you more fish. Because if these were the only two colors you needed, then why would a company make hundreds of colors if everyone was just going to buy these two colors? If every single bass fisherman went out and threw black and green pumpkin and nothing else, these fish would get really smart on what those two colors are and they'd stop biting it. That's why sometimes just a little difference in your bait can catch you more fish, which we will talk about later. But these two colors are the main base colors that you will need. One other color I would add to these two would be a watermelon. This color tends to work in cleaner water over these two, but this is like for very, very clean water. If you wanted to skip the watermelon, you could just get away with just a black and a green pumpkin. For starters, let's talk about why these three base colors work so well and then what you'd want to add to these to catch more fish. So the reason that black is such an exceptional color and really could be the only color that I use is because it can imitate anything. Because it imitates just the shadow of whatever it could be down there on the bottom. So worms, you could use creature baits in black to imitate bluegills, crawfish, anything. The reason the green pumpkin color does so well is because a lot of the stuff that these fish feed on in the water, like crawfish, bluegills, other little minnows on the bottom, have this dark greenish brown color pattern to it. And typically green pumpkin will have black glitter in it as well. So that mottled presentation really imitates pretty much anything the bass could be feeding on. And the reason that the watermelon color works very well in clear water is because it has that translucent color to it compared to a green pumpkin or black where they're solid color. It's essentially a lighter green pumpkin. It still has the black glitter typically, and it is just a greenish color, and it does a very good job of imitating the bluegills, small minnows, and other things that those fish could be feeding on in that cleaner water while giving it a more natural approach than the green pumpkin or black in that type of water. If I was just getting into bass fishing, you could pick a green pumpkin, black, and watermelon, go to the lake, and you'd catch some fish. But let's get a little bit deeper than that and explain why we want to add some glitters and different types to our baits and how we want to do it to make sure we catch more fish. So when colors are added to a bait, what you can typically find is either a glitter is incorporated into the color of the bait, a swirl is incorporated, or a laminate where one side of the bait will be one color and one side will be the other, or they will dye the tips of the bait itself a different color. So those are the different ways that colors can be incorporated into that base color we talked about. So like these two baits that I have right here, this is a black base, but it has blue glitter in the bait itself, all incorporated in the color. And then this one is also considered a black base because it's just a black bait overall, but it has a bluish swirl going through the bait that adds to the bait color itself. Now the reason that we add colors to our bait are for two different reasons. The first one would be to present something a little bit different than what everybody else is throwing, make your bait look a little bit more natural. So like I said, those fish would get really keyed in on seeing black and green pumpkin baits all the time. So if you can throw a black and blue, a black and red, something like that, you can make your bait stand out from the rest of the people to get more bites. Even though you're throwing the same black color, just that little bit of difference can sometimes get you more bites, or it can make it look more like what the fish are feeding on. The other reason that we incorporate different colors in our bait is for different types of contrast in the bait. It allows the fish to find the bait easier in muddy water and stuff like that. So if you have a solid black bait or like a solid black with a bright blue laminate, that contrast on each side of the bait is really going to draw fish in from a distance. Another thing you'll see is a bright chartreuse tail. The entire bait can be one color and make it look really natural, but that bright tail on the end can draw a fish in because it's just something that stands out enough. So you either do it for contrast or to make it look natural, but those are the two reasons that we typically add colors to our bait. Now that doesn't mean you need to go out there and buy black and blue, black and red, black and whatever color in your baits. What you want to do is fit it to the conditions that you're fishing. So if you're looking for something for contrast in dirty water, I'd want a black bait with that bright blue side. That's the only time I really fish that bait, is when I'm fishing very dirty water. Other than that, a black and blue or a black would work just fine. I don't need black and blue because either one would work. They're just a black base coat. The other thing that you do when we're trying to make it look more natural, I've fished all over the country, and this is something that you have to do in your body of water locally to figure this one out. But for example, I've fished in Florida a lot. A lot of the fish down in Florida, like bluegills, have a very red tinge to them, or they have red speckles in them. So if you fish a black bait with red glitter in it, or a green pumpkin bait with red glitter in it, it's going to appeal to the fish down there much more than just a plain black bait, because it mimics the forage a lot better. Same thing if you fish tidal water. I fish the Chesapeake Bay and Potomac a lot. They have a lot of blue crabs down there, which we don't see in other types of water because those are ocean crabs. Those crabs are green pumpkin with some blue in it. So I fish a color called Magic Cross Swirl in those types of waters because it has the green and blue swirl and really makes it look like those blue crabs that live down there in that body of water. Another place, I fish Lake Erie, and a lot of the places around my house here have crawfish and smallmouth that feed heavily on those crawfish or gobies, and they have some orange color to them. That orange color, you can either get a bait with some orange swirl in it, an orange belly, an orange dye on your tips to make it look like crawfish pinchers. But what I like to do the most is just get some orange glitter in my bait. So I fish a lot of green pumpkin orange around the house here. Throwing some different baits like that can match the hatch a lot better, and it will get you more bites at the end of the day. However, if you go to Florida and threw a bait with black and blue flake, we know the fish have red coloration to them down there, but the fish will not turn away a bait that has blue glitter as opposed to red glitter. The only thing the red glitter might do is get you an extra bite or two at the end of the day, but you'll still catch fish on the black and blue. So when you go in to buy your soft plastics, especially if you fish from shore or on a budget and you can't buy as many bags as like the pros have, where they have thousands of bags and can fish all these different colors, what you want to do is try different colors when you go out. So if you go out the first time and you want to try a new color, try a black and blue and see if it catches you some more fish. Then maybe the next time you go to your body of water, you try a black and red. Maybe you catch more fish on the black and red, and then you know to keep using the black and red for the future, because it will vary based on the bodies of water you fish. Your local lake, you might have perch in your local lake. When I fish places that have perch a lot of times, I like some chartreuse in my bait, whether it's on the belly or it's on the tail. That can mimic a perch really well. So a lot of times you're just going to have to do some trial and error testing out these colors. But as long as you have those three main colors of black, green pumpkin, and watermelon, incorporate whatever glitter you'd like to try. It will not keep you from catching less fish as long as you're using those three colors. But if you find the right glitter, it will make sure you catch more fish while you're out there on the water. So if you enjoyed today's video talking about soft plastic color selection and how to save money while fishing, go ahead and check out this video right here where I talked about what fishing rods you need when you go pick out in a store, so you can save some money there as well. And make sure you leave a like down below and subscribe so you don't miss any more of my fishing videos coming up.